get to do this. Okay. And you have to let me know if this resonates with you. This is the first time that I put together a slideshow presentation because usually I am just all about talking and drawing it out. Sometimes that gets lost in the process. So here we go. Woohoo. The power is in your list. That's where the power of your business is. Because when we go to, oh, darn, I gotta keep it full. When we go to social media, which is really important, it does take both. But when we go to social media, we are at the behest of the algorithm. And I was doing some work the other day and really researching what the algorithm looks like. And the algorithm is about 5%. So if you've got 1,000 friends, maybe 50 people are seeing what it is that you're putting out. Now, there are things that you can do that can really change the algorithm, but you're renting the contact, so to speak, on social media. Whereas when they come to your website, you own them. But today we're going to cover building your brand, because building your brand is something we all know what McDonald's looks like, right? You know, we see those golden arches and immediately we know who that is. So building your brand, being consistent is really important. We're going to cover that today because many artists use this color this time, this color that time. They use this font this time. They use this banner this time. And being consistent is really important. We're going to cover why your website is important and why your list is absolutely the most valuable thing that your art business owns, aside from your own creative inspiration for your art. We're going to cover using forms on your website. And we're going to cover email templates and how to make those easy for you so that you are able to stay in communication regularly with people and to make offers to them that will make a difference in your connection with them and in your art business. And then we're going to cover how to use social media. So when you're building your brand, right? And if you have the workbook, in the workbook, you will see that I have given you access to a really cool tool called Coolors, and that is COOLORS.io. And that is a color branding website that you can use for free. And if you've got that, if you've downloaded the workbook, you have that in there. Just click on that and it'll take you directly over there. It will make a difference in seeing visually the colors that you like and putting them together so that you have a reference. You can download a really powerful PDF and of those colors, and to make sure that you use that the code for that color in everything that you're doing. When you're putting up new things on social media, when you're building out your website, making sure that you're staying true to your branding is really important. You know, many artists, now we've got all kinds of artists. We've got photographers and we've got musicians, we've got writers, we've got painters. And when I'm talking, I'm usually talking to painters because that's what I am. We also have sculptors as well. So know that as I'm talking specifically to you. This goes across the board. We've tested it with our clients. It goes across the board. It doesn't matter what your creative expression is. if you're using your branding, if you're consistent in your branding, like coming up with a little tagline for yourself, Bob, one that I can think of for you would be something like bringing nostalgia back to life, because you have such incredible art that you put together some. Well, I'm thinking of your Howdy Doody. That is a great painting. Excuse me, I gotta get some water. So, coming up with a tagline for yourself, and I've had artists say to me, "Well, don't you think that's just a little bit, too much?" No, it's not. Whatever you can do to keep yourself memorable in the minds of your audience, if they start to see you and see that tagline and immediately they know that it's you, Bob, then it's something that is super powerful. If they see your blend, mixture of colors and your tagline, then suddenly they're just going, holy guacamole, I know who this is. And it helps resonate, cement you into their memory, right? And we want to do that. So being consistent with your colors, it really, for painters, the thing that when I'm working with branding an artist, many times it depends on what their signature looks like. Their signature ends up being their banner, right? It ends up, their signature is what we really want to put forth. For a sculptor, you can come up with one of your favorite pieces, and that can become your brand. For a writer, we have one that uses keyboard or typewriter keys for their initials. There are really creative things that you can do. And as a creative, if you begin to take just a little bit of that creativity that you have inside of you, that is so innate, and begin to apply it to your art business, man, it's going to go off the charts. Off the charts. So an email list matters because you're able to target your audience. You're able to guide the conversation. And having an email list, the most successful artist that I've worked with, and he was high functioning. When we started working together, he had a list of about 1,200 people. He only sent out newsletters periodically. He was a little bit more regular with them, a little bit more disciplined. But there were new people that were constantly coming onto his website, and those relationships weren't being nurtured. So nurturing the relationship of people who come to your website. Now, it depends on what kind of website you have. There are, for many artists, they love Faso. For myself, I'm a WordPress girl. There's Wix, there's Squarespace. There are many website builders out there. Making sure that you get notifications when a new person has come in and filled out a form can really help you stay on top of it. They can really help you build your audience because you're keeping in contact with them. It's really interesting how that works, because when you're silent, right? People come and well, whatever. I love seeing this. Love seeing this art. Oh, I love seeing this art over here too. Oh, I love seeing this art over here by this artist, and I love seeing this art over here by this artist. But when you start to create contact with them, people love to say, "Oh yeah, I talk to Bob all the time. Yeah, we email all the time. I get emails from him And I'm not talking about newsletters, because newsletters are passé. They are not personal, right? And I'm not talking about spending all day long crafting brand new emails for everyone. That's where the templates that we'll get into will come into. You'll see how that can really work for you. And it feels very personal to the person that you're sending them to. But it's based on the same things that you say over and over again to the first person, or the first time that a person comes to your website. And then having a flow of emails that go out to them with connection and offers can make a huge difference. So email matters because, unlike the social media algorithm, you have the ability to control the conversation. And it's about building relationships. Thinking about marketing can just really blow the mind of an artist. They're making a new friend, finding a new fan. Now that can inspire an artist, right? So you have more control over your communication with people. 100% of the people that get your emails can open them, whereas only 5% or less than 5%, depending on the algorithm, depending on the interest of the audience that you have, can see your posts on social media, right? So we just talked about the algorithm. Less than 5%. I mean, that blows my mind. When I started researching that, I thought, because I really wanted to understand, know more about how the algorithm worked and what the reach of an artist could be organically. You know, there are things that you can do. You can pay to boost your post, and that can make a difference. You can really spend a lot of time on social media. That can help make a difference, but it's not nearly the difference that the list of people who are interested in your art, who come to your website, who fill out your form. It's not nearly as powerful as that person and that list on your website. Here's the data. I mean, 5%. Now, the open rate average is about 25%. Now, most of the artists that I represent, they have higher open rates than that. The average open rate of my clients is somewhere between 37 and 42%, which is much higher than 5%, right? And those are people who are really looking at the emails, clicking on the links, and being very interactive with the information. So you have 100% control over, you can craft new emails. Okay, well, this one didn't work. But I got to tell you this, the most powerful and important email that you're going to send out is that very first one. That very first email will make a difference in whether they open succeeding emails after that. But it does take both. It does take social media, and social media is free. So it does take social media in order to get people over to your website, because that's where you want them to go. You want to put, and it's going to come up here pretty soon, you want to put in a call to action. And that means that you want them to do something, right? You're asking them to do something. And that call to action for an artist should always be, hey, go over to my website. I have this to share with you. So social media can help you find your fans. on it, you can share your process. Now, I'm a big one for video. Video is super powerful and it's not going to go away. We are not going to use less video a year from now than we do today. In fact, the numbers show that we are going to increase in movement and action on the use of video in the future because it's captivating. The amount of interaction on a website that does not use video and a website that uses video is vast. You can capture and hold people's attention much more using video. You can also share your insights, right? Bob, this is something that we've talked about before, about letting people know what it is that you're working on, right? Today I'm working on establishing my values. You know, that's an insight that you have. That's something powerful that you're sharing. And I'm big on educating collectors, because the more educated that they become, the more discerning their tastes become, and they understand, oh my gosh, I love this artist because of his value contrast. Or, you know what, I understand because of what Bob shared with me that I love this artist because his edges are just, there's something really amazing about that. And I learned that from this artist. So sharing your insights is something really powerful. If you're a teacher, if you're teaching art, it is something that can really help inspire the people that you're attracting to your workshops, right? It can really make a difference. Oh my gosh, this artist knows exactly what they're talking about when it comes to sculpting. You know, whether they're using clay, they're talking about the different ways of using clay. If they're a metal sculptor, they've got such an insight into how it is that they're bending the metal or putting together these pieces. So it can really help you leverage when you're sharing that kind of content to get people over to your website. And when people come over to your website, that is where the magic happens, right? It's not on social media, or rarely on social media. So this thing that I was talking about earlier is a call to action, or a CTA. Now you guys are really getting some huge marketing vocabulary thrown at you today. There are some artists that I know that understand what a CTA is, but most of them are going, a what? A call to action is when you are asking someone to do something. You are calling to them to take an action. And the action that I always recommend via social media is to get them to your website. And that doesn't mean getting them to your front page. The thing that I like is to have one page, and it can be your front page, but I like to have one page that an artist is always updating. There's always a new video on that page. Not your whole site, because that takes up too much time, but it's certainly very easy to put up a title that says, this is what I'm working on now. And to have, excuse me, to have a short little video on that page about the process that you're at right now. And making sure that you have a web form on that page that pops up. Now, I like pop-ups because they give the person an opportunity to come to your website, visit there for a few minutes, and then the pop-up appears and they're going, oh my gosh, yes, I definitely, I want to be part of this. You know, I see what it is that they're doing and I want more. So ask, put a call to action in all of your social media, right? Even if it's at the bottom, even if you're talking about um, my great Aunt Mary just baked a loaf of bread, and I want to share this with you. Go over to my website and get more info. For an artist, there's usually this formula, and it's called the 80-20 formula. It's 80% fluff and 20% business, right? So you're putting up content. And this is something that I recommend for artists all the time, because people are super curious about who you are. They want to know more about you than just your art, right? They want a little backstory, So if you're interested in cooking, and you prize yourself as a weekend chef, or gardening is something really big for you. Bob, for you, you are a creator of magnificent woodworking things, and I would include that in what I'm posting on social media, right? I would share that. Today I'm working in this house. Today I'm working on drywall, and this is the process. It's laborious, but I've got lots of experience, and I've found really great ways to shorten the process. Or today it's all about cabinetry, and I'm not talking about using hundreds of hours of video. 2 minutes can really connect you with your audience, So using who you are and what you do can really make a difference in growing your audience on social media. Then putting the call to action in, getting them to your website, and growing your list. The more people that you have on your list, the more opportunities that you have that are greater than the opportunities that you have on social media. So once they fill out your form, you send them an email. Then you send another email, and you send another email, and you do it again and again and again. This is where the real connection happens. I'm just going to use myself as an example, and I am going to use when I asked Harley Brown for an interview. Finding Harley Brown was really, it was challenging, right? Finding where I could get an email to him. I actually at that time happened to find him on Twitter. When I sent him a private message on Twitter and he responded to me, oh my gosh, I was off the charts. Every single one of you, the people that are coming to your website, when they get a personal email from you, they are going to be just like I was, a kid in the candy store. Oh my gosh, I got an email from Jeff. Oh my gosh, I got an email from Barbara. Oh, goodness gracious, I got an email from Bob. You have no idea how powerful you are. You have no idea how interested people are in you. And when you do have an idea, you're going, but it takes so much time. It takes so much time. Well, that's where having templates is really valuable and really important, right? So templates are the things that I recommend, and I recommend creating a series of at least 5 of them, and then saving those documents on your computer so that you can copy and paste them and send them to each visitor. Because the first email that you send out is, Hey, thank you. I really appreciate your interest in my art, and I'm really, really so excited that you stopped by my website. Thank you. Is there anything that I can do for you? If you've got any questions, just hit return and email me back. Right? That's email number one. It's short and sweet. You're not trying to send them a huge dissertation. You might have an image of a painting in there, but you are not pushing that painting. You are thanking them for coming to your website. That's it. That's email number one. So, email number two is about you. You want to cement your relationship with them further. You want to let them know about what inspires you as an artist, how you got there. I have been doodling since I was knee high to a grasshopper. Or the thing that really floats my boat is writing these incredible prose, finding different ways of putting together words. Or I love the way that light hits a form and creates shadow. It just floats my boat. Or I love working with my hand and sculpting something is really powerful to me. It becomes a part of me because of the process. You tell them about you, but the thing that you do, right? You're going to make a call to action on every email. I recommend on the what inspires me is to take them to your About Me page on your website. Hey, if you want to, you only come up with a few words in the email that you're going to send them. Hey, I really want to share my process and what inspires me, and and I'm also curious about what inspires you. If you would, what inspires you to collect art? Are you an artist? Because getting more information about the people who are coming to your website is really important. Asking questions is something that really makes a difference in being able to get that information. So asking them a question in the email as well can inspire them to respond to your email. Having a call to action, leading them to your About page where you have guess what, video that you're talking to them and saying, hey, I just really wanted to share with you a little bit about what inspires me, what really drives my art, right? And sharing and having it in a written form below that as well. But having a video that is less than 5 minutes long, because you don't want to get into this diatribe or dissertation that is going to go, okay, well, this artist has really got a lot to say. So that's email number two. Email number three goes to that page that I just mentioned, the one that you update all the time. Hey, I'm working on this piece, and it can be very generic what you're saying in the email. I'm working on this piece right now, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about my process and how I go about creating. And having a call to action, a clickable link that takes them to a specific page on your website that you are sharing this video. This video can be up there for months and months and months, because when each person comes to your website, they're not going to get the same series of emails, right? This is email 1, email 2, email 3. You show them what you're working on at that point. You're sharing a little bit about your process. This can be a little bit longer video, doesn't have to be. It can be anywhere from 3 to 20 minutes. It all depends on what your inspiration is and how driven you are to share this info, right? So you take them and you're giving them something. This is something powerful that you're sharing with your audience. You're sharing with this person. And it is one of your superpowers because people are always, always incredibly curious about the process of an artist. And email number 4, this is where the magic happens, right? You make an offer. Hey, remember that piece that I was showing you that I was working on? I just finished it. And I'd love to let you know that it's available. And I'd love to share with you. Or I don't know that I would say it's available in the email. I'd love to let you know that this painting is finished. I take them over to the website. Now, this is something that I like to do, and it is a definite marketing strategy. I love it when an artist has a painting that is no longer available. Oh my gosh, the video that I made for this painting, it's sold. I'm so sorry. But I also have similar to this painting and this painting, and putting a link, not having it contained on the same page, having a link below that takes them to a page that has art that might be similar. Having red dots or sold on a painting is social proof that people want to collect your art. So having red dots mixed in with what's available is something that's super powerful. And email number 5, I like a series of 5. 4 is the sweet spot. 4 is where the magic happens. And number 5 is something to the effect of, hey, I really want to thank you for stopping by my website. I'd love to know more about you. Are you collecting? How long have you been collecting? What is it that really drives your interest? What are you looking for in art? And wait for them to respond to you. And 9 times out of 10, they do. Because you might be wondering, well, how fast or how slow do I send out these emails? The email, the first one, the thank you email, send out immediately, as soon as you possibly can. Now, I know that there are artists who have people coming to their website and they're in the midst of creating their next painting. And even though they know that someone new has come to their website, they don't want to take the time away from their creation. And I agree. So as soon as you have a break, and it might be the next morning, and that's okay, send them out the template, copy and paste it, right, into an email. Thank you for stopping by my website. And there are 2 sections to an email. There's the subject line and there's the preview line. And using the preview line is really important. It's very important real estate on a piece of email. For this one, I would use, thank you for stopping by my website. And I would have Bob Brown Fine Art, in the preview line, so that because we all get a lot of emails that aren't necessarily pertinent, but they have subject lines that try to draw our attention, right? So using that preview line below is something that can really help you get more of your emails open. And making sure that you are just really talking to these people and encouraging them to do the call to action, but to also make contact with you, right? And doing it as soon as you're able. That's really important. Now, rather than breaking it up, oh my gosh, well, I got 10 new people to my website today. Am I supposed to stop what I'm doing 10 times? No. Set a time, maybe at the end of the day, or maybe at the beginning of the day. If you have a lot of visitors to your website, maybe you want to do it twice a day. I recommend that it doesn't take you longer than 15 minutes. That's why the template is really important. Because if you can copy and paste it into an email and make sure that you use their first name. Hey, Sarah, thank you for stopping by my website. Using their first name is something really powerful and important in making that relationship more personal. So you have to type in what their name is, and then you copy and paste the email body into there, and always have at the bottom your name, your website link, and email, if that's easy for you. Your website's an absolute must. Email, they can just click respond on the email. Not a must, but it makes it easier. Put you right there in front of them. They can click that just as easily. So those are the things that I recommend for the flow of the emails to help you make sales to every visitor. What if you had, let's be really conservative. What if you had 10 new people this month that came to your website? What kind of difference would that make in your art business if you were able to connect solidly, really engage with these people? Let's say that 3 of those 10 really started to connect with you, whether it was for your art, your teaching ability, just rubbing elbows. Oh my gosh, I know this artist, right? I know Barbara. I know John. I know Sarah. I know Bob. Because when you email them, and that's one of the things that's really amazing about artists, is they usually answer their own phones, right? And they are usually very personable. If you are able to get them to respond, man, they're just like the most incredible people ever, right? We all know that, but it's getting into their ecosystem. So video, here we go, video. I love video. I love it for artists. I love it for creating, cementing that relationship, showing people who you are. And it doesn't have to be a long video. It doesn't have to be something that is, if you're using Instagram, Instagram requires that your videos are under 1 minute. Now, if you're using Facebook, you can have a much longer video. If you're using Twitter, you can use video on Twitter. Usually they like outside links until you're using one of their paid platforms. TikTok is all about video. So what's your social media strength? Who is it that you're connecting with? What's that look like for you? Instagram, if you've got a real strong following on Instagram, unless you're running paid ads, less than 1 minute. And they don't have to be fancy. They don't have to be edited to absolute perfection. And that's one thing about an artist, is that they have a tendency to put their all into everything that they do. And perfectionism is the enemy of good enough, right? Sometimes we have to be satisfied with good enough in order to make more connections so that more people are seeing our art. It's really important. So I did some research on the engagement factor with video. So there's up to 38% more engagement with video on Instagram. That's big. That's huge. Facebook, even more. It's 59% engagement with video on Facebook. Twitter. Now, there are not a lot of artists who are utilizing Twitter, and their platform has recently gone through a change, and I'm hearing good things about it. So that means that there are lots of opportunities for artists on Twitter. So it's 2.5 times more replies, 2.8 times more retweets, and 1.9% more likes. So that's big. Your numbers are important. Your numbers about how far you're reaching on social media. And you can keep a running tab in your head. I like spreadsheets. I know I'm a little bit different as far as artists go, but I love spreadsheets. I love to see them all categorized and in rows, and there's something that's really powerful for me with that. What works for you is the most important thing. So knowing these are the important numbers to know. How far are you reaching on social media? How many people are liking and commenting on your posts? How many people are visiting your website? And how many people open your emails and respond to those? Now, there are different ways, there are different technologies that can help you really identify those numbers. If you've got a website, the analytics on your website will tell you how many people are visiting your website. Your social media, you can see that immediately. You can see how many people are liking and how many people are commenting. Now, opening your emails, that is a little bit different if you're using MailChimp, Constant Contact, or some other email service. They will give you those analytics or depending on the level of commitment that you have to that platform. Some of them in the free versions, they don't provide the analytics. They want you to subscribe before they provide that information. But there's another way to gauge it though too. And that way to gauge it is by knowing how many people are responding to your emails and following the template format that I set out for you guys inspires people to respond, right? And you can get making the templates. So let's say that 9 out of 10 people, when you send out a thank you, they respond back. Now, it'll take a little bit for you to understand, but you will begin to see an opportunity to create something that feels personable, but can be templated. Somebody who says, hey, Bob, really, thank you so much. I really appreciate the email. That is super sweet. You can shorten the time length between email 1 and email 2. And I don't think that I finished on that one either. Email 1 goes out immediately. Email 2 goes out about a week later, somewhere between 4 days and a week, because you don't want to allow too much time to transpire before you are making contact with these people. Email 3, same thing, somewhere between 4 days and a week. Same thing. You get to where it's somewhere about every week. It can be 5 days, it can be 4 days. You don't want it to be every day, but you continue to make consistent, and you don't want it to be the same day of the week. Use that incredible artistic diversity that you have for your emails. Oh yeah, today I'm going to send that out. Put it on your calendar so that you know that this week I'm going to send it out on Wednesday. Next week I'm going to send it out on Friday. The next week I'm going to send it out on Tuesday, so that if you're more organized, more structured, and that works for you, then use that approach. So you can know about how many more people open your emails by the people who are responding. Encouraging them, asking them questions can make a difference. So I want to make an offer to you. I want to help you really do this list build in a big way, to really learn the structure of creating these templates, of having real guidance, real support, help crafting your emails, knowing what it looks like to test them, real help with your social media, and it's all guaranteed, right? So we covered today building your brand, why your website's important, why your list is important, using forms on your website, your email templates made easy, and how to use social media. This list build masterclass that I'm offering is a 4-week class. You're going to get emails every day, new videos every day that will help you, guide you on the step for that day. We'll meet weekly so that you can ask the questions that you have. I will help you with the technical aspects. I can't tell you how many of my clients, Kathryn, I don't know how to do this, that I help them find the answer. It's not that I necessarily do the work, but I help them, guide them so that they are empowered to do that. Learn how to make offers, right? That's really important. How to make an offer of your art to the people that doesn't feel pushy to you, feels like an opportunity to them. And we have a private Facebook group that only the people that are in this are on the same journey are in, and it's all guaranteed. If you don't achieve the results, if you don't learn how to use your list, how to build a list, you'll get your money back. So it's $97. And it's all of this is valued at $3,242. That's what I sell those things for on a regular basis, and I get it. But you're not going to pay $197. It's only going to be $97 because I really do want to help you. I believe that you are the most powerful people on the planet. And I believe that you've been taken advantage of over and over and over again, because the business side of it is not your strong suit. It's not your focus you want to be creating. And so learning techniques and approaches that can make a difference for you is really important. And having somebody that really wants to help, that's me. I really want to make a difference in your life and in your art business, because I know that once you learn how to do these things and apply just a little bit of your creativity to them, you will change the world. So that is what I have for you guys today. I'm going to stop my share. And Bob, do you have any questions for me? You're here with me, and I'd love to know Was that valuable for you? And you'll have to unmute yourself. If you roll your cursor over the video, the mute button will come up. And let me see here. Let me see if that helps. I just asked you to unmute. So it's the mute button. If you roll, and if you're having problems finding us, I believe you're on a Mac. Is that right? No? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. If you roll your cursor over the video of us at the bottom, the mute button will come up.
Yeah, how's that?
Okay, perfect.
I lost you from, I had to pop back on the Zoom. Okay, no, I don't really have any questions. Actually, you covered pretty much what I had in mind, and I put up some videos on my YouTube channel. One of them was a tour of my studio, and I got a lot of hits on it. It's a little long. It's inappropriate as far as time goes, but you know, I see what you're saying. It's just that on Faso, which is kind of what I use as my primary site, I don't know where to put the videos there. I'm going to have to explore that site because I did get a lot of mentions there in the top 50% category of art submitted, and they gave me some perks. I got to go over them, but again, they're business perks, so you'll have to forgive my creative mind, but I don't have a business mind, so I don't know how to go about taking advantage of those perks. So, you know, I'm in that vicious cycle of business absorption versus creative output, if you understand what I mean.
I do.
So I'm going to go over that, and I'm going to put up a video on the Faso site. I don't have any. It's kind of vacant. All that's there is my art. My other site, my Suave Design site, which has all of my old stuff, isn't really appropriate because I'm not selling my old art. You know, I know it has some relevance as far as interest of collectors, perhaps, but I don't really think it doesn't seem to me to be a professional site. So I kind of keep that as a secondary site. But the YouTube channel, I've gotten a lot of hits on all my videos because I have the time lapse of all the work. So people like to see the progress, and I have gotten some hits on the Faso site as far as people on my newsletter. But I'm going to put a video up on Faso. I'm going to make one. I can do that.
So one of the things that I do offer, and I know that your schedule might not allow it, but on Fridays, man, I have got business hours, office hours, and starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time. And I help artists figure these things out, you know, how to get that video on that particular page, what that looks like for them. It's really super important because I really do want to help.
Just tell me where to mail the check. No questions asked. Let's do it.
Well, office hours is free. The list build for artists, which it's something that I'm going to be focusing on because you guys have the opportunity to make 6 figures plus. You do. It's because your minds are creative in a particular way that you don't use that creativity in the business sense. And then there are people, I could name names, then there are people who come along and they say, oh my gosh, what a creative genius this is. And they make all the money off of your creativity. Man, I don't want to, I want to make a difference in that. I believe in, I'm one of you guys. I am one of you guys.
Kathryn, I can build a house, but I can't program a thermostat. Go figure.
There you go.
Why?
There you
Because when I think of touching those little buttons and having those electronic numbers pop up, it makes me uncomfortable. Same as business makes me uncomfortable.
That is a video right there. I'm telling you, that is a video right there. That is a video that would go onto your social media. Or would have been less than 1 minute. You're sharing something very personal about yourself, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're sharing your other skills, right?
Weakness.
And well, you're being vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we all love to see people be real with us. And when people are real with us, they are showing us some of their vulnerabilities, and that's what you're sharing in that. It's
By the
really
way,
powerful.
I did recently, I'm working on the color part of my new painting. And I did put up, I posted something on Facebook telling people that showing them my desk where the piece was, that I'm beginning to work on the color. So we'll see if they appreciate that. But I did get some input. I have some fans there that really are encouraged and like to see what's going on progress wise.
Absolutely. And I've actually watched the video of your studio, and I think that it's great.
Oh.
There are things that you have done for your workspace that are absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, and it did have mistakes. So just, it wasn't perfect, but I didn't rehearse it. I didn't have any notes, so I just kind of winged it.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, I am the perfect example. I am the perfect example because I'm not polished. I come on here and I pour out my heart to you guys, right?
To me, you're polished. We're each unpolished to ourselves.
Well, I appreciate that, but it is pouring out my heart, right? And the thing that is really important to me is helping artists. And I've got artists that come to me all the time. Kathryn, can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? I would love to be in a position that my life was in a place that the rent was already taken care of, and those things, right? As artists, we always want to help one another.
Kathryn, I want to stop building and repairing and fixing things. My body's beginning to hurt. I want to sit, I want to paint, I want to teach, I want to do that. I don't want to spend my last 20 years on earth putting screws in holes.
Yep, being a part of the list build masterclass, I'm telling you, Bob, I mean, it will allow me to pour into you for 4 weeks and make a difference in how you approach your social media.
Just send me.
I will. And it will allow me to help you with your website, what your pages might look like. What do you need for your pages? What does that look like? I can't do the work for you, but I can certainly guide you into how to do that. And we can find the information because it will help everyone else in the group if they're on a FASO site. Okay, well, I saw that that's how this is done. It got video to refer to all the time as a resource. So, and because I understand, I really do, the creative process for artists, I happen to have gotten interested in the business side of it, right? But I'm still a creative. My creativity is about now helping artists with technology, with the marketing, with the things that are going to make a huge difference in their lives, in their businesses. That's my passion. That's my creativity. That's the thing that I focus on, right? It's still that creativity. It's still that mindset, right? But it's focused in a specific area, just like every other artist. If you're a writer, if you are a sculptor, if you're a musician, you are channeled, you're wired in a different way. You're not wired like the rest of the world. They get distracted Well, we get distracted too, but our distractions are usually about what we're creating, what we're interested in creating. That's usually where we end up getting lost.
You know what's funny, Catherine? I often wonder what the world looks like to the rest of the people. In other words, when I look at things, I wonder how they see them. It's funny. I've thought of that often.
It's your job as an artist, and I'm so glad that you said that, because just 2 days ago, I was reading this blog, and I can't remember where it was, but it's your job as an artist to show people how you see the world, and it can change the way that they see the world. And
That's a,
that
that's
is
a good, I like that.
powerful.
I like that. It's a
Yeah,
great, yeah.
super powerful. It makes a huge difference in um in the way that they look at things, because who was it that there was a client, actually it was last Saturday, who was talking about Clyde Aspavig. I mean, he's just an absolutely incredible artist, right? I mean, painter personified. I was talking about uh, walking past a scene that many other artists would say, there's nothing here for me. And he'd find something that was like, oh my gosh, and really become focused on it and share that with the world. And suddenly they're looking at that differently. Another artist, well, actually, you do it as well, Bob, in that painting that you did of your most recent one, or maybe it's not. Howdy Doody.
It was the one before the one I'm working on, yeah.
So Howdy Doody, you made me look differently at nostalgia. It was, and you've got other things that you have done. You've done some Civil War pieces that were amazing. You're an incredible artist.
Thank you. That Civil War piece is my favorite piece, by the way. But I don't get a lot of response to that one, because I think the subject matter connotes violence in today's world, and people don't want to talk about war and killing, and that piece isn't necessarily a violent piece, but it does. I've gotten that from a few people that chose certain pieces of mine, but they left that one out, and I happen to think it's one of my better paintings. Isn't that weird?
So here is a suggestion for you. Instead of just having that piece of art, have a few words below that piece of art that describe what that piece of art means to you. Because through that conversation, just that little bit of a conversation, you can change the view of whoever it is that's looking at that piece of art.
I want to share two things with you. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but two things just came up recently. I met a guy and his wife who live pretty close by to me, the next town, 2 towns over. The man, a really nice guy named Dave, and his wife is Ginny. He's a collector. When I say collector, I'm not specifying. He collects everything. I went down to his basement in his house, and he's very gracious. He has glass cases full of Civil War, Revolutionary War, World War I, World War II. He has artifacts from Auschwitz. I mean, actual tickets from the train, dresses that the people wore. He has sports, baseball, football. I mean, his basement is full of memorabilia. And he said that at any time I want, I can go down to his basement, take anything home with me, photograph it and paint it, no charge, anytime I want. So I have that available.
So if that's an opportunity, Bob, that's an opportunity for you.
Crazy. I can spend the rest of my life just painting his objects.
And you can also create opportunities for him to collect your work.
I would like to do that because, like I said, they're really nice people. One more thing, and then I'm going to let you go. I'm going to revert back to my illustration days. I think in a couple of weeks to a month. and I'm going to use my carpentry skills. I used to put book covers together, meaning I assemble them. That's how illustrators work. They take pieces here and there, they throw it into a page, and it becomes a scene. I want to do a Western. The reason being is I see a lot of Western art, and I see a lot of Easterners doing Western art. Now, being an illustrator, illustrators are painters the same as anyone else. There's no differentiation. People have made a wall, but there is no wall. I took some louvered doors for closets. I'm actually making trim for it. I'm building 2 saloon doors. I'm putting it on a wood frame. Now, listen, I have it over my girlfriend's house. I'm going to build 2 saloon doors. I'm going to make them look rustic. And I have a friend, really good friend, who looks like a great cowboy. And I have all the garb. I have the pants, the chaps, the boots, the gun, the bullets, the whole 9 yards. My scene that I'm going to create is from the inside of a saloon looking out to the street, with him coming in through the saloon doors. You'll see the outside scene, you'll see landscape, you'll see people, you'll see him. And in the room, you'll see a card table with guys playing cards, a dog or a cat on the floor, a spittoon, a waitress, oil lamps, but very dark from the inside looking to a light outside. I want to set that all up and see if I can pull it off.
I love it. I love it. And I would start by sharing your process. I would start by sharing your vision in some way. This is what I'm thinking, and share little tidbits. I'm thinking a Western scene, and when you have, if you're doing sketches or procreates, I'd have a little bit, okay, today, my idea is about this saloon. So I got these saloon doors, and I just pan around. That'd probably be all I'd say.
On Facebook.
Yeah, that'd be all I'd say. And I could post it on Facebook. I could post it on Instagram. I could post it on Twitter.
I'm not real good with Instagram, Kathryn. So maybe I might need a little bit of help on that. I don't really actively use Instagram.
So here's the deal, though, is that there are so many platforms out there. I've got clients recently who are interested in TikTok. And TikTok was something that I was pretty resistant to, but it's a pretty fun little platform, right? If you're doing videos, they love the videos where they're under 30 seconds, and they're like a gift. They just repeat over and over again. The ones that are a little bit more interesting or off the cuff get more attention. But I have seen amazing things happen with TikTok. You've got to pick.
People are saying that TikTok is a Chinese spy platform. There's a lot of propaganda going around about that.
I've read that. I've read that. So yes, I've read that. So yes, I've read that they are trying to make determinations, because they've not been able to crack the psychology of the American public, and they're using TikTok to try and generate information. Yes, I have read that. So I
think that's more for the young crowd.
My thing is this about all technology. What good can I do with it?
Mm-hmm.
What good can I do with it? And what good can I encourage others to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I look at all technology, because I've got some friends who are real poliophiles on one side or the other, and
good word, politophile.
I admit this to everyone. I admit this to everyone. I do not watch the news. I do not listen to the news.
Neither.
It is days, sometimes weeks after an event has happened before I know about it, because no one's told me, and there's enough for me to be concerned with in my life and my ecosystem to keep me thoroughly entertained and thoroughly engaged. And if I am able within my community to make a difference, I really believe that that snowballs and reaches out everywhere. And that's what makes the difference. That's what changes the world. So I love our community. I love artists, and whatever good that I can use technology in order to facilitate artists being more powerful, having a more powerful voice in the world, I'm going to do it. So yeah, so I never look at I'm aware of it. I've got people who talk about it, but I always look for myself. What good am I able to do? And how can I share that inspiration that I have with others that inspires them to do good with that as well? And that's why I believe that our community is so flippin' strong and can change this world. If our community can be inspired to use just a modicum, doesn't have to be a whole lot, just a modicum of that creative genius that lies inside of you, and put it out into the world, we will change the world in a heartbeat. We will change the world. And I want to be a part of that. So I want to help.
Me too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Actually, as an illustrator, when I was an illustrator, I felt pretty much like that. You know, I'm not saying it's dead and gone, but it's changed radically. But when I was in it, when I was immersed in it full time, that's all I was doing. I have to admit, it was fun. It was just loads of fun. Who I met, where I went, what I did, what I had to investigate, photo shoots, library, deadlines. It was great, and also peers. You know, it was just a good time.
Yeah. And you can bring that back. You can resurrect that. You know,
I missed that.
I'd love to talk to you about recreating that, because you've just said something really powerful, and it is the power of community, right?
Mhm.
Each one of us has the ability to create a community around what we are interested in. You're interested in your art is like off the charts, and I like to encourage everybody to go take a look at Bob's art. It's robertbrown.com. Is that right, Bob?
robertscottbrown.com.
robertscottbrown.com. His work is really off the chart, and really off the chart. And it's just making small little shifts in what it is that you're doing and how it is that you're doing it, you know. And for our audience, for our people, building communities, building tribes around what we're interested in, around our art, what drives us, what inspires us, makes a difference. The bigger our tribes become, the bigger our impact becomes, the bigger our influence becomes. And it's really super powerful, super powerful. You guys are the most powerful people on the planet. I say that all the time. Everyone that knows me, they're just going, oh my gosh, I don't say it to you guys enough. You guys need to know it. You need to know how powerful you are. It's just small little tweaks, small little shifts. And the important thing is to not get so overwhelmed with the business stuff that you aren't doing the creative stuff, because that's where, in the years that I have been doing this, that is where I see the biggest disconnect. When an artist starts doing the business side of it and they lose their focus on the art, then suddenly the business has got to go to the wayside, because their heart, their entire being says, this is all about creating. This is not about the business side.
I got to get as much painting done as I can, because my fingers are beginning to hurt. When you get older, you wake up in the morning, you go, it's like, okay, I can hold the brush now.
Yeah, I get that. But keeping them moving Also keeps them flexible. And I had this artist say to me, and it's really interesting, this little story. He has recently become a client. I met this artist back in 2003 and actually took a workshop with him and thought, oh my gosh, there were a couple of things that he said that kept me, that I kept repeating over the years. And there's probably some video somewhere that I said this, but it came from him. You don't have to run a 4-minute mile, and you don't have to be able to bench press 400 pounds. Painting is something you can do your entire life.
Yeah.
You know, we have my left foot, you know, we have examples of people who are really inspired to create that have other limitations and they don't allow those to stop them. And
You
so,
know what, Catherine, when I saw a guy painting, he has no use of his arms and legs. He's painting with a brush in his mouth. That's when you have to take a real look at things in yourself and say, wow, I'm complaining that my fingers hurt in the morning. You don't do that.
there you go. There you go. I've seen some really inspiring people in my life, and the people who are the most inspiring to me are the ones that have overcome the biggest obstacles and not allowed those to stop them. So yeah, we are every day. Just had a couple of friends here. One who is 92, and she is a pistol. Oh my gosh, she is a pistol. And another friend who is 83. And these women, oh my good gravy, they are just, they're an inspiration to me. And this 92-year-old, she is just a card like you just can't even imagine the spunk that she has. And I'm just going, oh my gosh, I wouldn't mind living that long as I've got her kind of energy, command of my brain. And but she says, you know, you've got to be willing, if you're going to live that long, you've got to be willing to lose some things. You know, you've got to be willing to lose some of your eyesight. You got to be willing to lose some of your hearing. You've got to be willing to lose some of your mobility. She says, but not all of it. You know, you work with what it is you got and you just roll with it. You know, she's just an inspiration. So
It's funny, I knew a guy in school. This is a true story. He was a right-handed artist and he lost his right hand in an accident. He wasn't that good or successful with his right hand. When he lost a hand, he used his left hand and he became a better known and a higher quality artist in his left hand. Isn't that funny? Not funny, but it's sort of ironic in a way.
yes, it's very interesting. Many years ago, my son broke his right arm, and he was young at that time, and at that age when young people can get very whiny, and he was very whiny. And I thought, okay, how can I lead this child through this challenge? Because having a broken arm hurts, right? And if you're right-handed, then you've got some really big challenges. So I went with him and I told him, I said, okay, we're going to do everything left-handed. And, you know, I stabilized my right hand and did everything left-handed in order to, you know, lead the way rather than, you got that, you know, rather than complaining, you got to do this, or, you know, that kind of thing. Lead by example. And the next time he did break that arm twice, the next time he was much more able and skilled to be working with his left hand. So there are things that happen in our lives that lead us to greater opportunities. And it's seeing those opportunities and being willing to be absorbed by them and transformed through them. So, hey, do we have any questions? We're live here on Facebook, and there are people here in the room with us. Are there any questions of anyone out there? I would love to hear from you. Would love to hear from you. And I know it takes more than a minute to get, get the comments coming. So if you guys have any questions, I would love to answer those for you. If you work with this flow that I have outlined today, you will make a difference in your business. I love the 15-minute timer. It can take you a week to get this set up if you're using the 15-minute timer, right? Because you're taking one day to write your emails. And then you're taking a couple of days to set up your web page. And then you're taking another day or so in order to put it all together, right? So if you're using the 15-minute timer, but if you're one of those artists, I've got a client, God love her. I mean, she is an inspiration. I give her some tasks to do, and she just, man, she gets it done. She is on fire. She is very driven, and many artists are that way. Got a task in front of me, and I'm going to get it done. You can have it done in the next couple of hours. You can set up those templates. Set up at least 4 of them. I recommend 5, but setting up at least 4 of them. That gives you the opportunity to communicate with the people that are coming to your website for at least a month. And in that month, if you come into the List Build Masterclass, I can really help you set it up so that you've got months and months of templated content that can make a difference in the amount of work that you sell, how you sell it, and what your website looks like, and the engagement and interaction. So,
Kathryn, do I have those templates? Do I have access to those templates?
you don't at this point, but you do in the workbook. There is a real strong outline of what I recommend.
I don't have the workbook.
Oh, it's in your email box.
Okay, I have to check. It must be back a little bit. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it came out just before we went live. So yeah, the workbook is really important. Only the people that registered for the event, the people that are live on Facebook, didn't get the workbook, only the ones that registered. And there's, I think that workbook is like 18 pages or something. And you know, there's a tremendous amount of information in there, and the templates, the templating part is the templating aspect is part of it. So yeah, really, I highly recommend simplifying everything so that it can be done quickly, so that you can get back to creating, because that's what it is that you're all about. I want to teach you how to create this really rockin' thriving art business that's still creating, doing it in small little bits that get done and really serve you, because you're able to do them over and over and over again. So no questions here on Facebook. I see that we've got people here, and I appreciate you being here. Really do. Bob, I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Kathryn.
We had quite a few people that were registered to come in live with us. I did get an email from a few of them saying that they had other appointments and weren't going to be able to make the live event, but wanted to make sure that the event was going to be available to them. Yes, it is going to be in the Facebook group until Sunday. You can watch the video over. Paulette, if you registered, I will make sure that you get the workbook. I will, as soon as we're done here, I will make sure that gets sent over to you if you were registered. Yes, ma'am. We'll take care of you. It's encouragement, because when I'm doing one of these events, man, I put a lot into it because I really want to share the information. There's a lot to share, and making sure that you are empowered to make the difference in this world that you are called to make. That's really important. And yeah, that's really important. It's really important to me that I'm able to help you. So, Bob, any more questions for me, my friend?
I think I'm good for now, but I'm sure some will come up at some point in time. I'm always full of questions.
Fantastic. Yes. Bob and I have been in communication for several years now, so it's always good to see you, and your art is just absolutely amazing. So if you guys get a chance, go to robertscottbrown.com and take a look. And one of the things.
I want to thank you for taking the time to do this.
Oh, absolutely. I hope that you become part of the master class, and we'll make sure that you get the link. I'll drop the link into the post for this video after it's processed. And I hope to see all of you, because serving you is really important, because you are powerhouses. You are amazing people that have a superpower, and it really reaches far beyond just art. And I don't mean just art. It reaches beyond art. You can change the world. You have the ability. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you everyone for being here. And I will see you for a few minutes tomorrow. Office hours is open on Friday. If you need any help, it's just like I'm talking to Bob right now. If you need any help with your technologies, or you're not understanding how this idea of an art business might look for your brand, because every brand is different, and I don't cookie cut anyone, because it's important that you guys are honored where you're at and what you're doing. Come in and see me on office hours. There is a little caveat. You do have to be a part of my list in order to get the link to my Zoom room. The link that you have, Bob, is not the link to my Zoom room. This is a special event link. But I send it out every Thursday and every Friday. We are going to go to a schedule that 3 weeks a month we will have office hours on Fridays, and 1 week a month I will be using that time for other things. So we will be having office hours this Friday. So if you're on my list, you'll get the email. If you're not on my list, then get on my list, and that at KathrynLloydDigitalAgency.com. And I'll put that into the comments as well. And thank you. Thank you, Bob, for being here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jeff.
Go out and create something really beautiful.
Back to the painting board.
I love it. I love it. Share your process.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.